Good morning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCO's April webinar on financial aid and budgeting in optometry school. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Tara Pinnell. I am the Student Services and Admissions Officer at SCO. I'm one of the team members who answers your admissions questions and participates in the admissions process. Before we get started, I ask that we all use proper Zoom etiquette by keeping microphones muted unless speaking, limiting background noise, and respecting all of this webinar's attendees and facilitators. We will have time for questions towards the end of the webinar, but in the meantime, if you have any questions or concerns that need immediate attention, please use your chat feature to communicate with us. So today I have a presentation to share with you about financial aid, and we'll hear from Ms. Delrita Branch, who is our financial aid officer, and Mr. Joe Hauser, who is our vice president for students. This webinar is being recorded and will be free and available to view starting next week on our website as well as YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and let Ms. Delrita Branch begin with her presentation. Delrita, can you hear me? Okay. Are you ready to go ahead and begin your presentation? I think your microphone is turned off. Okay. It looks like Delrita is having an issue with turning her microphone on, so we're going to give her just a second. Okay, it looks like Mr. Joe Hauser has also joined. So I am going to go ahead and let him begin with the presentation since Delrita is having issues with her microphone. Hang on one second and let me. See if we can figure that out. Okay. So Joe and Delrita, you should be able to turn your mic on now.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. So should I go ahead and start now?
Yes.
Okay, well, I am so
That-
sorry. Good morning, everyone, and congratulations on being accepted to the Southern College of Optometry. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I am the financial aid officer in the financial aid office, and I'm going to provide you with a little information. And if you have questions, as Tara said before, we will have time for any questions that you may have. Thank you. So some of the questions you may be thinking of is how do I apply for aid at SCO? How much aid can I borrow per year here at the Southern College of Optometry? What types of aid do you offer here? How and when do I receive my loans and debt management? Next slide.
I think Delrita, you should be
Oh,
able to also click it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So there are a couple of forms that you will complete directly with the financial aid office. One form is the FERPA form. This is the Family Rights and Privacy Act form, and this is what you would sign and include the people you would allow us to speak with them regarding your aid. And this is done on our net partner. And also you would complete the rights and responsibilities form. Both of these forms are completed through NetPartner, and NetPartner is part of the software that we use to capture your information in order to package you for your aid. And there are some additional documents that you will complete online, and that is with the Department of Education. Now, in order to complete these documents, you would need to create a Federal Student Aid ID, this FSA ID, and that's done with on studentaid.gov. And once you do that, you'll be able to go ahead and complete your FAFSA. You'll complete the master promissory note if you're going to take loans, and you'll also need to complete the entrance loan counseling document as well. These documents are needed. Your loans would not come to the school if you do not complete these documents.
Tara and Del Rita, I'll chime in here. This is those last two, the promissory note entrance counseling. In my discussions with the financial aid office over the years, there's usually anywhere from 5 to 10 students in an entering class that think they have done everything correctly. And the financial aid office will email students to let them know, hey, this is still lacking, but maybe students aren't checking their emails or missing that. So you can do everything right, but if you don't complete your promissory note or your online counseling, the funds won't be here. Financial aid will keep you posted, but you have to be mindful of checking these messages from time to time just in case.
That is so true. Thank you for elaborating on that, Joe. So how much aid can I borrow? You can borrow no more than your total budget. So this budget that we're looking at here, you are enrolled for 8 months, and your total cost of attendance budget is $75,887. And this does include living expenses of $2,305 monthly. And there is a slight typo here with the year, but during May, June, and part of July of 2027, you would not be able to borrow funds, but you will be able to participate in institutional work study, and this would help to pay for some of your living expenses during that time.
And just to chime in here, under the living expenses, we provide and send all students what's called a cost of attendance budget, which will break down line items like rent, utilities, not just living expenses as a whole. And I think what that does is it helps a student, like for example, rent is about $950, $960 a month. So if you have a roommate and your apartment is, let's say, $1,800 a month, or $900 each, then you know that you're on target or within your budget. Because if you spend more than you're budgeted for in one area, you have to make up for it in another. You can't go to financial aid and say, hey, my rent is twice as high as the average student, I need more money. You're restricted or confined to that cap. So knowing what these individual costs are or your budgeted items are important, so that when you're and rent's the biggest one, when you're looking at rent and utilities and food, et cetera, that you're staying within your budget.
Right. Okay. And here is that monthly breakdown of the living expense budget. And like Joe said, for housing, you're allowed $979. You are to try to stick to that. Getting a roommate would help you to maintain that budget as well. If you are selecting housing that will cost you more than $979 a month, then you would have to either look to other resources to try to supplement that difference. for an example. With the health profession student loan, the amount that you could receive varies. It just depends upon the availability of the funds. Now, with the health profession student loan, parent financial information is required to determine your eligibility. And this is your Heartland ECSI is the loan servicer. The school is the lender for this loan. And this is our most attractive loan, where the interest does not accrue while you're in school. You're also may be eligible for up to $50,000 per year on the direct Stafford unsubsidized loan. And this is a loan through the Department of Education. The Direct Grad Plus has been eliminated for entering students who have not participated in a graduate program. So looking at your total budget is $75,887, and you would have your unsubsidized available loan. And also, if you're eligible for the health profession, that would help pay for your cost of attendance here.
And just wanted to comment on the HPSL, just to let you know for future reference, it's usually a March 1 deadline, because our accounting office and financial aid office work together, because we have to determine all students, not just entering students, that are eligible, because our current students start in May. So we have to have a little bit of an earlier application timeline, so that we know how many people qualify for HPSL and then determine the loan amount. So just even if you miss it 1 year, you can't, and you think you qualify based upon your parents' income, you can apply for a future year for HPSL, but just be mindful that very one specific loan does have a much earlier application deadline than, let's say, the unsub loan.
Yes. Okay, and this is the total budget and the loans that you could be eligible for. So what if you need more loan? The only way to borrow more than your set budget is to increase your budget. And the government will only allow certain items to be included in a student's budget, and those items would have to be documented in your file. So some of those items that could be included are auto insurance, auto repairs, medical expenses, and a computer while you're attending SCO. But there are items that cannot be included, which is auto payments. So if you have a car payment, that could not be included. The purchase of a car, no. Credit card payments and expenses for a pet. Those are items that we cannot include in your cost of attendance budget. You have to remember that you're here to attend school, and we would want you to graduate with the least amount of debt possible. So you would need to be cognizant of the expenses that you're included in your budget. So the types of aid at SCO, which Joe and I just mentioned, the health profession student loan, this has a 5% fixed interest rate. You have a 12-month grace period before you enter repayment. The interest does not accrue on this loan during school. It starts during your grace. It is a need-based period. A need-based loan, and parent income information is required, once again, to determine your eligibility for this loan. SCO is the lender and Heartland ECSI is the loan servicer. So when you're repaying through Heartland. The federal direct unsubsidized loan has a fixed interest rate of 7.952% currently. It is an unsubsidized loan. The grace period before entering repayment is 6 months. This loan does have an origination fee of 1.057%. So with the interest rate, that is subject to change each year in July. and the origination fee is subject to change each year in October. And as mentioned before, the Federal Direct Grad Plus loan has been eliminated for entering students who have not participated in a graduate program. As mentioned earlier, also, we have the institutional work study program, and this is a great way to earn money where you're not spending your loan money on things like activities you would do off campus for fun. Some students, if depending on the number of hours they're able to work, can supplement some of their living expenses. These are part-time jobs, and the pay ranges from $16 to $20 an hour. And it is need-based, and you're paid monthly, so it's directly deposited into the bank information that you've provided with our accounting office. And just think, if you decide you want to participate in community service, you could get paid $18 an hour for those positions. There is also other aid available, service obligation programs like military scholarships. This could cover up to your full tuition, books, and monthly stipends. And this is also with the Indian Health Service Scholarship as well. Arkansas loan, forgivable loan is available at $5,000 a year, but you must be a recipient of the Arkansas contract seat. And the North Carolina forgivable loan is available as well. And you must be a North Carolina resident and have at least a 3.20 grade point average. Some additional information: when you're completing the FAFSA, our school code is listed here. And when you're completing the FAFSA, there are things that we capture, like your the total budget minus the student aid index. And the student aid index is provided to us from the information that you enter on your FAFSA. So that's how that calculation comes. When you're completing your FAFSA, if you're not a US born citizen, please enter your alien registration number. And remember, for the health profession student loan, you would complete, this is a separate application for that, and you would complete the college scholarship service profile application. And that information is sent out around the end of the year or the first of the year. And as Joe mentioned before, we have a deadline each year around the 1st of March. And also, when you're completing the FAFSA, keep in mind that your tax information has to be imported. You would do this by selecting the direct data exchange tool on the FAFSA so that your information can be imported correctly. So after you've done everything that you needed to do, you're thinking, how am I going to receive my money? So what happens once we capture your information, you'll be awarded, and we'll send you an email if you request that. But the Net Partner software that we mentioned before, you would go into that software to pull up your Net Partner account, and this will list the loans or any documents also that are needed, but this will list your loans, any scholarships or contract seats that you may have. Also, you will be instructed at that time to accept your awards online through that Net Partner portal or through the student portal. Once loans are accepted, the financial aid office will process them and send them to the loan servicer. The funds will be dispersed to the school 10 days prior to registration each semester. And once the accounting office has credited the funds that you owe to the school, they will apply those funds to your banking account, but allow them at least 3 business days from that 10-day prior date. And just keep in mind that no funds are dispersed prior to your first day of the semester. So when you're coming in the fall, just keep in mind that you may have to cover rent on your own Say for instance, you come in mid-August, this is just an example, and rent is due on the 1st of August, you would be responsible for finding out how you would pay that rent for it wouldn't be by loan money. So just keep that in mind. So your first disbursement would not be until the first day of class. Some things you may need just to keep in mind if you're thinking of participating in our work study program, please bring a copy of your Social Security card because you'll need that to complete your tax forms. Also, check out the National Student Loan Data System with the Department of Education. This, which is the NSLDS website, you'll be able to see your loan balances and who your loan servicer is. When you're looking for apartments or places to live, the proof of income, they are accepting your award letter, which is your financial aid offer letter as well. We can get that for you. Just email the financial aid office and we can help you with that. And check out the Net Partner Student Portal. When you log in, your login ID is your Social Security number, and you may request a password through the Net Partner system as well. You can also view any missing information in your disbursements and things like that on Net Partner, and you'll receive an email once you've been awarded as well. Also, keep in mind, here's our contact information. My director, Lachelle Hunt Davenport, her information is included here as well as mine. We have our email addresses here, but we ask that anytime that you're emailing us to email the financial aid at sco.edu email address. That way we can both see the email, or you can email both of those email addresses at once. And there are only 2 of us in the office. We will want to make sure that we give attention to your messages at all times. So please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. I think that is all that I have. Does anyone have any questions?
Del Rita, one of the things I just wanted to make clear for our inquiries, we talked a lot about loans, and there's your budget, as Ms. Branch was sharing with you. Since many students, vast majority, a large number of students receive either a state contract seat or an SCO scholarship, that like for that first year, the cost of attendance is about $75,000. So let's just say, for an example, a student's receiving a state contract seat for about $21,000. That would lower your borrowing from 75 to 54. I know that probably is implied, but we want to make sure that that you understand that if you're getting a scholarship or a contract seat, the intent of that is to lower your debt. You can't borrow. In that case, if you get a state contract seat, hey, can I still borrow $75,000? The answer to that is no. That is your cap at your cost. So any scholarship or contract seat that you get will reduce the need for borrowing. And then I think what's really key and critical is sitting down figuratively or literally with the financial aid office with your individual. Like, for example, case in point, about $3,000 in your budgets for health insurance. But if you're so covered under your parents, then you shouldn't have to have that extra $3,000. So maybe that's an example where you can lower the amount of loans that you need and keep your indebtedness. Just because it's in the budget doesn't mean you have to borrow for it. It just means that it's available to you if needed.
I'd also like to add, I think there's still a few more slides to go, Del Rita.
Okay.
I think there's
Okay.
5 more, so
Okay. So,
Can you see the screen?
yes. I guess I misunderstood this part. So, okay, you need to look at your budget ways to lower your costs each month. And just as Joe said, like for instance, if you are on your parents or you have health insurance with a spouse, this amount is still included in your budget, and you may be able to use those funds to help supplement other expenses elsewhere. Let's see. Okay, and then there's the Every Dollar budgeting app, and this is free. This helps you to budget your funds. So for your first year, remember with rent, consider getting a roommate. This to help to keep your rent down. Cook and prepare your meals for the week and pack a lunch. That helps on the spending. Just drinking water instead of soft drinks can save you $4 to $5 a day. Also, with utilities, just internet and Netflix, no cable. That would help to keep you within your utilities budget. And carpooling helps to save on gas, and a gas card from Kroger is one idea to help give you like a little refund back. So that helps.
And for all of these categories, I'll just add two things here. Our current students, for which you'll be interacting with, you'll get a big SIB, usually the class ahead of you. They can sort of share with you because almost all of our students are moving to Memphis. So therefore, you may not immediately know, hey, where do I go grocery shopping, or where do I get my oil change, or where do I do this and do that? And the big SIB is good at providing their take on that information, but they can also give you pointers on, um, hey, we get a group together and cook a big meal on Sundays, and then have leftovers for the week, and it really helps with the food budget, and it's kind of fun to get together and do that. So current students are really good with providing you insight, because I mean it's another student going, like those of us in the admissions and the financial aid office, we're not living the life of a student, so we're giving good pointers, but we're not in the throes of things like you are. But our upperclassmen, our current students are, and I think it's a wonderful resource. And then finally, all these aspects we're talking about as far as your budget and loans, it's sort of assuming you're not getting any assistance either from your parents or savings, etc. So in talking, like for example, if your parents are able to help out a little bit and saying, hey, we can't pay for this or can't do this, but we're able to help you out a little bit. Um, Having that discussion and kind of knowing where they can assist you will also help you stay within your budget and not run out of money, for lack of better words, or maybe minimizing the amount of loans that you need to take out. Because at the end of the day, we want you to graduate with the least amount of loans, but you kind of have to take ownership of that from day one. You can't wait till your fourth year of optometry school to say, "Hey, I'm really interested in this debt thing." It really has to start from day one and making good decisions.
Right. And though we're recommending these apps, just make sure you're controlling your spending. They're just a help aid in trying to help you with your spending. And as Joe said earlier, talk to your second and third year students. Um, be careful with impulse purchases. Think about it overnight, and you'll realize that the next day you really didn't need that. Just think about your wants versus needs. Always keep busy and avoid excess spending. Okay, any questions?
If anyone has any questions for Del Rita or Joe or for myself, feel free to use the chat feature. We'll have that open for just a few minutes for you all to type in your chats. We'll give you just a minute. Any last minute words of advice from Joe or Del Rita about financial aid or budgeting?
Well, I'll just again re-echo. Our students are really naturally gifted and good at science. Personal finance might be uh, a little bit of a foreign language to some. You have a lot of, but you have a lot of resources. You have your family, you have us. The worst thing I think that you can do is not ask questions or assume. We all know what happens when we assume. So I think one of the things that I would highly recommend as you're going through the process is asking questions of both the admissions financial aid office, your big SIB, so that you have a better idea of if you're kind of on target or on track with other students. Um, and again, when you sit down with financial aid, which is an option for you, in going over your very individual budget with either Miss Branch or Miss Hunt Davenport, they can sort of point things out, like um, hey, you might be making a mistake here, or this might be a misassumption, or yes, you're on target. So I think all these things are here to reinforce to you that yes, you're on schedule. This looks like a sound budget, a sound plan, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, throughout the term, if any things were to change or any surprises comes along, like, oh, I've got a pretty expensive car repair bill or something like that, you can always come to financial aid and kind of see how this may change or adjust your budget.
That's correct. Yes, so we're here. We communicate often with students. One thing in particular, we're having a little debacle with students. We're communicating through your SCO email. So once you're here and you have that set up, we're sending a lot of information, and you're welcome to reach out to us and sit with us, and we can talk about your budget and what could possibly be your awards for the next few years.
So we did have a question from Jayla. She asked, I came to the presentation late. What is the minimum amount of technology required?
Well, Del Rita, you would know more. I'm assuming it would just be access to Net Partner.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, so yes, we would send that information out to you. So you would have to just create a password to Net Partner, which is a software for the financial aid office where we capture your information. But it's also could be called the student portal, but you would create that your ID with your social security number.
I'm giving her just a minute because it looks like she's still typing. She said, okay,
Oh.
and I know schools like KYCO have technology included in the budget. Just wanted to know if I needed to save or adapt for that.
So computer purchase is included in the budget. It's already included in your cost of attendance budget, but you would not be able to acquire those funds before the classes start in that fall term, if that's what you're asking.
Well, and I'll chime in this as I'm not sure because the term technology can mean a lot of different things. When as entering students are getting closer, of course, most of our students are going to have their own laptops or devices already. What our information services department does, which is our basically our IT team, they can provide you the specs of what is typically used and needed as a student. I'm not a tech expert, but they will provide that to you to make sure that if you have a current laptop or device that you plan to use, to make sure it's compatible for the educational software. So our IT team, which is not included on this call, and we forward that information to all the entering students as far as these are the specs or these are the things that you would need as a as an entering student as far as your technological devices.
Okay, I think that's probably all of our questions, but certainly if you have any other questions, Joe and Del Rita's information is on the slide for you. If you have any questions regarding admissions or anything else, you can feel free to email me. I will put my email in the chat as well. But that brings us to the end of the webinar. I know we've covered a lot of information. I hope this webinar has been of assistance to you, but we look forward to seeing you in May for our webinar covering becoming a competitive applicant. If you'd like to go ahead and register for that webinar, the link is live and available on our website now. Here is the link. If you haven't done so already, I invite you to request more information by signing up for our inquiry form. You will receive a personal advisor and a brochure with information relevant to your goals and your experiences. I'd just like to say thank you to Del Rita and Joe for sharing your time and insight. We really hope to see everyone next month, but in the meantime, we hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.